With the confirmation that Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is finally going to have persistent lobbies returning, I wanted to take some time as a COD Unk to tell you guys about my experience playing in the old school lobbies and discussing if they really were as bad as people say they were. Spoilers, it was in fact a crazy time. So for those of you that don't know, BO7 is going to have persistent lobbies, which means that once the game is finished, you stay with the same group of players in the lobby unless they leave. This will hopefully help with matchmaking times, but it'll also give you the opportunity to form rivalries with other players. For those of you that didn't play in what most consider the golden era of COD, like Modern Warfare, World at War, MW2, Black Ops, MW3, and Black Ops 2, this is the kind of lobbies that we used to have back in the day. If you know anything about the early days of Xbox Live, it was that Call of Duty lobbies had a little bit of a reputation. Back in the day, people used to say that COD players were rude, that they were crude, that they were racist. And you know what? As somebody that was there during that era, I can say that a lot of that is actually true, unfortunately. Now, to be clear, I personally did not participate in any of these activities. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't a perfect angel. I talked my shit, especially when I had a good game or another player was targeting me specifically. But I did not then and do not now condone any types of hate speech. It was, unfortunately, just kind of the way that things were for a lot of players back then. You've got to keep in mind, this is before the era of voice comm bans for bad language were really a thing. So you would run into a lot of people that were just kind of wild, and sometimes you would just hear the most unhinged shit you've ever heard in your entire life. Whatever the opposite of a safe space is, that's what Xbox Live was back in the day. It's one of those unfortunate side effects of the internet. You know, people feel safe behind an anonymous avatar or gamer tag. So they say a whole bunch of shit that they would never try to actually say in real life, just to get a rise out of people. While I'm sure there were some small-minded idiots that were actually like genuinely racist or homophobic or whatever, at the end of the day, in my experience, it was just a bunch of edgy teens and college students just trying to push each other's buttons. Here are some of the memories that come to mind for me when I think back to that time. I remember one time we were playing Modern Warfare 2 and we kept going against this other party. We kept trading games back and forth. We would win one, they would win one. So every time we got back to the general chat in the persistent lobby, we would just start talking our shit. One thing we liked to do as a group is listen for the player on the other team that was getting angry or having a hard time, then try to push his buttons specifically to get him on tilt, so that their entire team was just in disarray. We would ask shit like, hey, Bad Dude 77, what happened back there? Just to get him going and start blaming his teammates, and then everything would fall apart for them the next game. In this particular game that I'm remembering, we kept killing the same player over and over again with the riot shields because we had just unlocked them in the current prestige we were working through. Those of you who were there know how much of a troll the riot shields were back in the day, especially when the game was still relatively new. We get back to the lobby, and my buddy Mario goes, hey, XX Deadshot XX, do you need tips for how to deal with riot shields or something? The dude goes off. He is tilted as fuck, just cussing us out, and he's got this like super thick Russian accent. He's saying all types of shit that would get this channel completely blown off the face of YouTube if I ever repeated it. And he's talking about how we can't get with any women or whatever. I remember at the end of his rant in his really heavy accent, he just goes, do you even lift bench? And we were all just cracking up, losing our shit. This was around the time the do you even lift bro meme was making its rounds on the internet. So we were just dying laughing, and do you even lift a bench became a staple quote in my friend group. There was also the classic stuff you would hear in the lobbies, like kids getting cussed out by their parents. I remember we would ask kids that we thought were younger than us based on their voice in the chat, why they weren't at school or why they were up so late past their bedtime. And this one time, we were giving this one kid shit because he was killing everybody on our team. He was just blowing us out of the water. And he's giving shit right back to us. He's coming back with like the filthiest, most racist responses I have heard to this day. Of course, it's always like what sounds like a spoiled 13-year-old that would say the most heinous shit on there. But this particular kid was on a whole other level of ranting and trash talk. He was just giving it to us. Of course, what happens as he's getting himself too hyped up talking his shit? We hear through his cheap little Xbox headset mic his bedroom door whip open and his mom go,
"Connor, I swear to God, if you don't go to sleep, you know your father has to get up in 2 hours."
Of course, we're all just cracking up and we start dogpiling the kid. We eventually see him leave the lobby, right? But not before my friend Mario slides in one last quick comment on the voice chat. He goes, "Hey, Connor, is your mom single? She sounds hot. I'll be your new stepdad." We were all dying. It was just the most ridiculous shit. So pretty much what I'm here to say is the old stories that you've heard about COD lobbies, they're mostly true. You would hear some crooked shit come out of people's mouths. And sometimes you would hear somebody watching like an adult video or something in the background, but it wasn't all bad or weird. Sometimes you would get into a friendly back and forth banter with another team that was actually pushing your skills to the limit and challenging you. There were even other players that you would recognize via their gamer tag, and you would kind of build rapport with them. I'll tell you guys, there was nothing like going game after game with the same group of people, trading wins back and forth with someone who was competitive but not a complete dick. Somebody who could take trash talk as well as they could dish it out. And sometimes afterwards, you would add them on Xbox Live or ask them about what loadout they were using. It was an interesting time for sure. And without persistent lobbies, Call of Duty just hasn't felt the same for me. I know that today, a lot of the stuff we used to say or hear would not fly, and honestly, it's probably for the best that we leave that side of things in the past. But needless to say, I am kind of excited to see how persistent lobbies are in Black Ops 7. I hope that they bring some of that magic back. And I hope that those of you that pick up the game get to enjoy some friendly rivalries and meet some new squad members along your journey. And remember, if you see me out there, don't forget to say hey. But that's all for me today. I'm Haunted House, and thanks for watching.